I feel like everyone at some point of their lives wants to get in the game of real estate.
100%.
Athletes, musicians, artists, everyone. And if you think about it, all roads lead back to real estate.
Get good at one thing, be the expert at that. And then learn how to make 10 different streams off of doing the exact same thing.
California is probably one of the worst places to own rental properties because once a squatter's in, good luck getting them out.
Somebody gave me advice. You should have hired a squatter to squat on top of the squatter.
Oh my God.
Call us Reyes on the humble show. Yeah, we all in. So grab your boys now, cause you know we all win. Lift your hands up.
Welcome back to the All In Podcast, where the truth is unedited. I am your host, Carlos Reyes, and today I have the founder of the world's largest real estate bus tour in history, Mr. Scott Orison, in the building, aka the Red Suit Realtor. Welcome to the show, brother.
Life is good, man. I'm excited to be here in Arizona.
That's right. Welcome to Arizona. Welcome to the show. Right. Excited to have you here, bro. You know, I think this has been long overdue. I keep missing you when you come in, and I've been saying, hey, we should rip one together. Let's just, sit down and have a good time. And now we're here.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, right? I woke up this morning, Salt Lake City. Yeah. To like a couple inches of snow, and it was like, I know we had talked about, hey, do you want to adjust the podcast and do you want to change things up? But at the end of the day, it's all about the journey is what life is all about. And it's all about solving problems. And you were just so, hey, let's adjust the time. Let's let it rip. Cause I don't know about you, but I like to live my life on my schedule and not everyone else's schedule. And so here we are, we made it, and it's long overdue, my man.
I love that, bro. We were talking about that earlier about how like we love to live our lives in a state of flow, right? It's like, it's easy. It's almost like an orchestra. You're just dun 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 dun, dun right? Dun 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 dun. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
how I love life or every day to feel every day. And that's why when you were like, oh man, we're it's getting a little crazy over here, weather as usual, right? Which is a little weird. Does that happen in Utah around March?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Seriously, we've had snow in May. Like
really?
You literally could be skiing in the mountains in May, and then later go to the lakes and be surfing at the same time.
That is so wild.
Yeah, the weather's a little bit like I always tell people, it's like if you don't like the weather here, just wait 12 hours. Mm-hmm. It was like 70 degrees yesterday, so yeah, I'm used to it.
Well, I'm glad that you made it, and today we're gonna have fun, right? We're gonna rip the show here for a little bit. And then we're going to go check out one of my projects here in Phoenix. We're going to blue tape it, right? I'll even use your eyes for the walkthrough. And it's going to be fun, man. So now here, let's start by first and foremost, I would say announcing and broadcasting what you got going on here in a couple of weeks. The world's largest bus tour up in Salt Lake City. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the world's largest real estate bus tour.
Real estate bus tour.
3.0 this year. So we got some big names. You got people like Sean Whalen. You're coming to speak. You're going to be hosting the bus. We got guys flying in from Canada, all over the country. There's going to be 400 investors that I've vetted all in one room. Mm-hmm. So we're going to learn about flipping homes, flipping businesses. You're going to learn about funding, commercial, like everything A to Z in real estate. And I've realized like I'm the fix and flip guy in Utah. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to help 1,000 people fix and flip their first home. But I've also realized there's Airbnb guys. There's so many avenues to make money in real estate. Mm-hmm. I don't always have to be the smartest guy in the room. So I've found the best in the world that are going to be speaking at that event, you with wholesaling, fix and flips. And I put them all together in one room and magic happens. You saw last year. So,
oh yeah. Yeah. If anybody out there is interested, first, I feel like everyone at some point of their lives wants to get in the game of real estate. Yes or no?
100%.
Athletes, musicians, artists, right? Everyone, and all, if you think about it, all roads lead back to real estate, right? Where else, what other vehicles can you utilize that effectively to generate long-term, wealth, generational wealth, legacy. What other vehicles are financial vehicles are there out there that is better than real estate? I haven't seen them.
Yeah. So think about it. You got to live somewhere, right? Virtual AI is not going to take over where you're going to live. And then secondly, your kids have to live somewhere. That's why it's so powerful that you understand how real estate works. I've got a 29-year-old son. I got a 10-year-old son. I'm concerned about their future. And literally, as I'm talking to people, it's not, guys that have lots of money. On the way here, I served a LDS mission in Santiago, Chile 25 years ago. And right there, I went after the checkout today. All of a sudden I said, "Hey, Orison." And it was actually my mission presidents from Santiago, Chile, that's who was there. And they said to me, "You know what? My son, he can't get into a home. He can't afford it. He only makes like $80,000 a year. You're the guy. How can you help him to be creative?" And so, it meant the world to him, not so much him and him making money. The fact we started talking about all these different options, off-market deals, using like seller financing, using wholesales, fix and flip hard money. He's like, I had no idea that even existed. And this guy's a super, super highly successful man that's made millions and millions of dollars that had no idea of all of these options, how to get his kids. And after I told him, I said, I got your kid. We'll get him in a house. We'll teach him what I've done, buy a house, renovate it, move every 2 years.
Wow.
And so his eyes lit up through the roof because this world's not about us. It's about our kids, about our family, and about building a legacy. So that's why I love real estate more than anything, because every single person can relate to it.
I love that. I was going to tell you that we got a very similar program, like kind of what you got going on, right? But before I even start talking about that, tell me this program that it's a program, it's a joint venture, whatever you want to call it, right? But this, I'm going to call it a program. This program you have going on with up north, up in Utah, right, in the real estate game. Talk to me about what that process looks like, because it sounds like for a lot of people, man, this is one of the most efficient, I would say, risk calculated ways to make money in the game of real estate, right? So talk to us about your program.
Yeah. So here's what I've learned. When I was a teenager, I was always chasing everyone, always chasing. It's like, how do you catch a fish? You throw the bait out there and you let the fish come to you. You don't chase it with a hook. So I've always been a chaser growing up, and that was my insecurities. And so I've realized through this game, I want everyone to come to me.
Yeah.
I want to have the home field. If I have to go, so like literally we're in Arizona, we're doing a training for fix and flip and realtors this afternoon. Then tomorrow we're headed to Chicago. And then the next day we're hitting up Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, and Columbus in 4 days.
Wow.
But I got to chase on their territory. Why not add value to the market and let everyone come to me? And literally in one day, we can go out there. We can go through fix and flips, right? We can put together deals. We can put together capital. Like literally this year from the stage, I'm going to put together a deal that I have no idea. Hey, who's got a deal? Who's got money? Who's a contractor? Who's a realtor?
That's so cool.
That, you know what I mean? Like literally, you don't have to have a lot of money or resources. You just have to have that belief in your head. So the biggest thing I've realized is this is for your audience. If they can figure this out, they're going to crush it. Get good at one thing. One thing, be the expert at that. And then learn how to make 10 different streams off of doing the exact same thing. So I'm the guy that's helping everyone fix and flip homes, but first I had to fix and flip them myself. I've been doing it since 2006. Once I got good at it, now I'm like, I can't do all these deals myself. Why don't I teach other people to do the exact same thing that I do? And I can make money wholesaling the deals to them. I can use my real estate license to list those properties. Now I can actually leverage and do the same thing, make money with my mind, not my spine. And all of a sudden, we're building one of the largest, fastest growing real estate teams in the country right now. I'm teaching realtors how to fix and flip homes. And you think realtors, like, they're professionals. They ain't. Most realtors haven't even bought their own home, let alone can teach other people.
Well, most realtors, according to statistics from 2024, what was it? 90% of realtors didn't even do a deal, or actually like 80% of realtors, 78?
So it was like 70, somewhere 71, 72%.
That
didn't even do a deal last year.
That is so disappointing.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, for sure. So continue.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, we can complain about it. It's like the economy and watching politics all day, or we can actually do something about it. So literally these trainings we're doing, we're teaching realtors how to make $100K in the next 90 days in real estate. So I've got some baller. I've got Paige Steckling does social media. I've got Tessa Bella. I've got Jeremy Davis that does door knocking. We'll knock doors and get leads out of it. So I'll knock doors and I'll get deals like, hey, your roof's bad. Hey, actually, like, yeah, I've been thinking, do you know you have equity in this house? Hey, we can actually even close that deal. I can buy it from you, or we can do some carpet and paint and I can list it for you. So it's that one skill set that I have, solving problems. That, by the way, that's the one skill set. If you're good at solving problems, lights out. You're gonna absolutely crush it.
Yeah.
Because those that can solve problems, like the iPhone, there was a phone before the iPhone that came out.
Well, there was a bunch of phones, right? There was different phones, cell phones, right?
The smartphone, but there was a smartphone that tried it before, and Apple came in and they just did a much, much better solving that problem.
You're saying that there was a similar concept.
I can't remember if it was Microsoft or somebody else that literally came out, or BlackBerry or something like that came out with this model, and nobody liked it. And nobody liked it.
Yeah. So do you remember when BlackBerry was very popular in the early 2000s?
Oh yeah.
Right. The Kardashians had it. Right. There's actually a movie, I believe, on Netflix about it, either Netflix or Prime, where BlackBerry came into the marketplace, exploded, took over, and it was a very, very short run. Boom. They were out of business in a matter of just a couple of years.
They didn't innovate. Yeah. It was a 4 or 5 year play. You had the crackberry is what I called it.
Wow.
Back in like,
it was BlackBerry.
Yeah, it was BlackBerry.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. BlackBerry came in and then they left. And then all of a sudden, and I remember in college, like 20 years, I was sitting on the bus. I was like, because the iPod came out. Remember the iPod?
Yeah, the big old brick, the white brick.
Yeah, you had the white brick, and then you had the mini. And I was how? Like, I don't want to carry I've got the iPod, I've got the phone, I've got my keys. How do you put it all together in one? And they figured it out, and now it's just literally like taking over with just, they solved the problem. And by solving the problem,
you're technically doing that with your own program. You're bringing it all together. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it. And watch when I tell you what we have going on upstairs, you'll be like, oh my God, dude, I think we're doing the same thing. Watch this, ready? So you're like, okay. Everybody wants to make money in real estate in some, or they want to get in the game somehow, right? All right, so there you go. You have there's a desire, there's a problem. Maybe you can, right? There's that. You identify that. Then you're like, okay, well, they don't know where to begin. They don't know how to get the house. Let me help them with that. Let me help them get them the right deal where they're going to actually make money, right?
The right information.
So take me down that process, because I feel, right, like it's a reflection almost of what you just identified with the iPhone.
Yeah. So, back in the day, I have coaches, I have mentors, and I remember Sean Whalen about 5 years ago, he had this black box where he had all of his t-shirts, and he's like, I want to do 100,000 of these black boxes. And I was like, oh man, 100,000, that's a really good number. And so I'm thinking here, like, I want to help 1,000 people fix and flip their first home. Like, people are like, hey, I want to be one. Instead of me saying, hey, look at all the homes I've flipped. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
After you've done it long enough, they can't relate to you.
Yeah.
But they can relate to that person that has fixed and flipped, that single mom. I helped a single mom that, we went through it at the bus tour.
Yeah.
She was struggling. She was doing loans. I said, hey, why don't you fix and flip a home? She made like $65,000 on her first fix and flip.
That's wild.
And I walked her through that entire process. Yeah. And now I'm like, it's just the belief system and having good information, because there's lots of sharks that are out there. Yeah. All they want is your money. They don't want to help you. And so my branding has been, how do I help
people actually win when they get around you and do some real estate?
Yeah, look, and I document it. I got all on YouTube. I didn't used to do this. I wish I would have done it 10, 15 years ago. As of about 2 years ago, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start documenting all these people. So what I would do is I would actually take them through the entire process. It's usually a 2 to 4 month process. How we find the deals, doing the renovation, working with the contractors, listing it and putting it on the market. Because I get tired of people that, like, there's so many people that have like the insecurities. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to show you. Because then if people always come back and they're like, well, this and that, I'm like, it's on YouTube right here, right? Boom, boom, watch this episode. And so a picture's worth 1,000 words. I've got over 100,000 photos on my camera and videos. I document everything. I'm waiting for it.
You know what, bro? Maybe that's why also, like, I would assume that some people, some of those folks that you have helped flip homes, they're part of your community somehow, right?
Yeah.
Now I know why they go so hard for you, because you're helping them win, right? So they show up for you. It's a win-win. It's like, Scotty has my back. I got his back. What is he doing? Where is he going? What does he need me to do? How do I step up for him? Because that's what he does for us. Yes?
Yeah. I mean, I helped. There's a guy out here in Arizona. He's like, I want to fix and flip a home. And I was like, cool. He was in Arizona and we fixed and flipped a duplex up in Utah. You fly back and forth. So the biggest thing is you genuinely, the problem that most people have right now, they're trying to go after the masses. You're better off to find 20 to 50 leaders that you lead them by serving them. And as they go out there and win, they're not going to leave you. They won't, because it doesn't matter what you've said to them or whatever's happened in life. You help somebody win and change their life, they will not leave you. They'll always remember you. Now, there are about half the people that you help. Then the sharks come out. Oh, that person just made 50, 60 grand. I'm going to send them a bad deal. This happens all the time.
Wow.
I've seen it where I've helped these people, and then these other sharks come out and then they put them in bad deals just to make money or make.
But how do they even get access to your people?
Because they see it online. I share everything.
And they reach out to them.
And then they're
directly.
like, oh, I got a really good deal. And then all of a sudden they don't call me. Yeah. They're like, oh, you don't need to talk to Scotty on this deal. Yeah. It's a good deal.
Yeah.
It's dirty. Like, and it's like, it's sad because, at the end of the day, just because you did one fix and flip, you're not an expert,
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. I always, in Utah, on every single deal I do, and I've been doing this for 20 years, I reach out to my mentors and say, hey, what do you think on this deal? What do you change off of that? It's that 10,000 hours of doing something over and over and over to become an expert at it. And there's a lot of fakes and a lot of phonies out there. They don't even fix and flip homes. And then they're sending deals to these guys and they're walking just to make a commission. And then they're stuck in a really, really bad deal. And so that's been hard on me because I've helped a lot of these people, and then they get into a bad deal, and then they're calling me saying, "Hey, Red Suit, you got any real estate attorneys?" Because it's just a sad deal that we live in. But at the end of the day, you just have to just keep moving forward and keep inspiring and motivating. And when you realize that not everyone's going to always love you, and the more success you have, the more people are going to not like that. And it has nothing to do with you. It's 100% their insecurities because they're not willing to do what you've been willing to do to put yourself out there. So,
well, imagine this, brother, right? Let's talk about, these people or these folks that you're talking about, as far as like these folks that have aspirations and dreams to flip a home, right? We were all there at one point. We were all there at one point. And imagine this, you have this hope and these dreams and these aspirations of flipping your first house. You save up a good amount of money. I mean, it was not easy to save that money up, whether you saved it up liquid, right, in a savings account, or you saved it up in your 401k or your IRA. But it took time and it took work, right? And you're doing that with multiple intentions, but one of the intentions is, man, when I save up enough money, I'm gonna flip that first house, right? And then you're ready to go. You're reserved. You've stacked up enough cash to do this, and then you invest into the wrong person, the wrong coach, the wrong mentor, the wrong servicer, right? Yeah. You invest into the wrong person, and now you lose money on the deal. You lose 10, 20, 30, sometimes $50,000 on the deal. You lose money. You are upside down on that deal. Can you imagine how that can break someone? Their life, their hopes, their dreams, right, of decades in the future are just wiped out because it took them a lot of time and a lot of effort to even get there. And then some degenerate just comes in and is like, yeah, with no moral compass. You know what I mean? Comes in and just crushes their dreams and in some cases their lives. A lot of people can't recover from the emotional and mental devastation and financial devastation. Forget the financial devastation, the emotional and the mental devastation and trauma.
Yeah, imagine I've seen this happen where somebody's spouse, they're going through hey, this was our 30, 40, 50 grand. They didn't do it right and run into a bad deal. Now they've got relationship issues and everything else that comes with it. And here's the thing. I've been there before. I've been broke multiple times, and I'm free and open and clear about it. Matter of fact, I started flipping homes. I bought a foreclosure in California back in, I think, 2008, 2007, 2008. Me and my wife, she's the best, 17 years married just recently. We got married in the backyard of the house that we bought as a foreclosure.
What a blessing.
And I don't know if I've told you this story, but something told us we were supposed to move to Utah. It was crazy because we loved it. We lived over in, kind of the Santa Monica, Thousand Oaks area.
Yeah.
And so we moved, and then we rented it out to somebody, and that was fine. And then they moved out. And then all of a sudden I became a property manager from 3 states away, 800 miles
how
away.
Old were you?
I was about 27, 28 at the time.
You were a young property manager, huh?
So in 3 states and a school teacher, Anyway.
But you were a school teacher?
No, he was.
Oh.
I got a letter. Hey, I got references. Well, anyway, after about 2 months of renting this out, I got one check, and then the checks stopped coming. And this tenant started going through my mail. And long story short, I had rented the property out to a professional squatter. You see, in California, you can't get people out of the house.
Wow.
So literally for about 9 months, no rent, nothing. I got some advice that said, you might spend $50,000 to $100,000 to get this squatter out of the house. You're probably going to lose it. I had close to $100,000 in equity in that house.
You really could not get this.
I couldn't get him out.
out.
He had I had people that wanted to buy it. They couldn't see it.
You didn't offer him money?
I didn't know.
Did you offer him money?
I didn't
to
know
leave?
the off-market game.
Oh.
But at that time, I was going through stuff I was just getting started,
Yeah.
I just didn't know this information.
By the way, did you hear that? California is probably one of the worst places to own rental properties because once a squatter's in, good luck getting them out. Yes?
Yes. And later somebody gave me advice. You should have hired a squatter to squat on top of the squatter.
Oh my God.
My rugby background, all my Polynesian friends would have done that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right? But he had it crafted, and I found out that he would literally that's what he would do. That's how he'd make his living.
For how long? What was the time frame?
He would just go back from one house to the next house.
But for like a year?
I don't know how long, but I heard before, and I went back through his references and I dug up. But long story short.
I wish you would have went through his references before you let him in.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I called him, and it's, they have the system down. Hey, here's my reference. I'd call somebody up and I would say, hey, tell me about, he's great. They're all in on the system.
And then when you call back when the guy's been squatting, when he's been squatting, you can't get him out. You call the references back. What do they tell you then?
Yeah, big dog. They don't pick up the phone. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the systems that we live in. And the mistake I made, I should have hired a property manager, penny wise, pound foolish, and paid them their 10% to manage that.
Yeah.
Because they would have vetted them and said, no, you have bad credit. You're not moving into this. At the time it was a $700,000-$800,000 house.
Yeah.
And so this is what I've been the stubborn one that's had to go through this. So a lot of what I'm building is creating what I wish I would have had when I first started. I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm creating that. That's the avatar. And so even when I wrote my book, it was like what I wish I would have known 15 years ago when I first started investing in real estate. I was out in 2008 buying the foreclosure short sales in Vegas.
Yeah.
I even wrote it in my book, man, I should be buying 20 to 30 of these right now. I just didn't know how because I didn't know about creative financing. So the fact I had to go through that, buy a foreclosure, renovate it, get married in that house and lose that house. Wow. Most people would take that victim mindset. That was the best thing that happened to me in my life because it taught me about creative financing. And then when I got back to Utah, that's when I started fixing and flipping homes. So your message.
By the way, it's all in here.
It's in there.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Everything.
So if you're watching or listening, you need to pick this up. Amazon, right? You can go Amazon.
Amazon, yep.
Suited for real estate success, how to invest, negotiate, and win every deal. Scott Orison.
You got it.
Orison.
It's close.
Real estate.
It's Orison. But here's the thing. Everyone knows me as Red Suit.
Why do I say Orison?
It's okay. I like it. I'll dig it. And that's one of those things that you probably... With your last name, it means something to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Orison.
Normally I would let Orison. Think of like Morrison without
Orison.
the M. Orison. People would butcher it. Somebody just call me Red.
Why don't we redo that jingle then?
Yeah. Okay.
Orison. No.
Auto parts.
No. Orison. Real estate. Ooh,
that's good.
Right?
I like it. I didn't know you got the chops on you.
Which one?
To sing.
Oh,
the chops.
Well, hello. That's the first time anybody in my life has ever told me that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, man. So, by the way, you still haven't told me if you got the squatter out. Like you had this whole great story.
I lost it. I lost it at foreclosure. Moved on.
Wait, hold on. You stopped paying it?
So I got advice saying the best thing you could do is just let it go to foreclosure, right? So the guy's still living in the house.
Are you kidding me?
I lost a home to foreclosure. I got advice from a realtor in California that said let it go to foreclosure. It wasn't good advice.
Yeah.
I could have gotten him out. And they said that you're going to just be dealing with issues by keeping it there. So I lost it to foreclosure completely. And then but the thing is with the foreclosure process, I wasn't getting any rents. I wasn't collecting anything. That guy probably lived in that house 2, 3, 4 years. I don't even know when it foreclosed. I think it was like 2010. I couldn't get into my house. I was 28. I was a big dude. I was threatening other, sources, and they said, dude, it's not worth it.
What was the time frame?
I think it was like 2010.
Because even though when the property becomes foreclosed, it still takes months, sometimes even years.
2012 is, I think, when I saw something that stayed on my record. I was like, oh, okay, this should be off by like 09, 010, right? Thinking it's fast. 2012. So I couldn't even get traditional loans. It didn't even clear off my record till 2019. So when I was buying a house in Utah, I couldn't even qualify for a regular loan. I had to get an FHA loan because that's 3 years. So like I said, going back to it, all of the things that I learned in that process, and now I don't even use traditional loan. I just like hard money. At 12% interest, regular interest is like 9, 10%. I can use hard money, learn how to fix and flip. So I figured out the deal. The social media, people bring me deals. And I'll get off-market deals. I'll get on-market deals. And then I've got access to capital, money. I literally train them what I wish I would have had 15, 20 years ago. I teach them that exact same process, and I'm already doing it. So it's just a very, like, I think in our life, the mistake that people, that, you know, comparison is the thief of joy. I'm trying to be like Carlos. No, be you. Be you. Figure what you're good at.
By the way, can you repeat what you just said about comparison?
Comparison is the thief of joy in life.
I love that, by the way, right? And that gets an oof.
Oof.
It's coming across the screen.
Is there like a saying that with the oof? Is it just an oof, or is it like oof?
We have
like
several variations of it. Yeah, it's like oof. Yeah.
Like, okay.
So you know, like, so Brad, you know, when someone drops a bomb, what does it do? Mine is what I do, because I go oof. It's kind of a Mexican thing. You know, like think about it, right? So we Mexicans use oof a lot for in different settings. Ready? So let's just say that you drop a bomb, like you drop a comparison is a thief of joy, and you know, Mexican guys saying is like oof, wow, like that was, yeah, he dropped the bomb there, right?
That's like a,
yeah, oof. See, right? Or you walk into a restroom, like let's just say that you use the restroom before me, right? And I walk in to the restroom right after you, and you just, you know, you went number 2. And the stench like hits me like a pile of bricks, right? You would go, ooh. So there's different settings, right? Like, ooh. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of different ways.
So like the back, like the oof is like, ooh, that's good. And then the sideway is like, oh.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So okay. Well, here's what I wanted to ask you, by the way. With everything you were saying, all right, why and how are you able to do what you're doing now? Not from a skill set aspect, because we now know your history and all the experiences that you've been through in the game of real estate. No, I'm talking about from a responsibility aspect, because that's where a lot of people, 9 out of 10 times, they implode. They don't know how, they're not good money managers. Their integrity isn't where it needs to be. So many different reasons. Why are you able to do it?
You know, there's a saying, and I say this all the time. You don't have to have a good memory if you tell people the truth.
Oof.
Look, I've realized this is a long haul game. It's not just come and go. You have to have that long-term consistency. And the guys in my area that I connect with, that I relate with, they've been doing it for 10, 15 years, because they will never, ever sacrifice their integrity to make a buck. It's just not worth it. And the reason I do it the way I do it is, I remember 10 years ago, my brother, I never got to see my brother walk. He was in a wheelchair his entire life. He was 5 years older than I was.
Wow.
And he passed away at the age of 39. And I remember 10 years ago looking up at my brother, and I said, Chad, I love you, man. And I'm going to do 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to honor your legacy. And number 2, I'm going to make you proud. And for me, that's everything, because my brother would have given anything just to walk, just to talk normal. He didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I know he's up there laughing at his little brother wearing a red suit everywhere. And that when my brother died, that's when the red suit was born.
Oof.
That's when I was alive off of that. And so sometimes it takes that losing somebody to honor somebody else's legacy through my actions. So the biggest thing is, when I'm going through tough times or this or that, it's not about me. It's about my brother, his legacy, and my children. And you're all going to hit bumps in the road. And at the end of the day, if you make it about you, you're going to make bad decisions. But if you make it about your legacy or your family's legacy, you'll always do the right thing, and it'll always work out for you. So what I've realized is that people are like, Red Suit, you're training your competition. I ain't training anyone, because I know that most people can't play the long game.
Oof.
They're eventually gonna crash and burn. And I've realized that for me, I'm playing the long game. So I train people how to fix them. I train them all.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather they come to me at my table. Like, see the event. I remember a couple years ago, Waylon's like, who wants to speak on my stage? Who wants to speak? And everyone's like, me. And I was sitting there thinking, okay, that'd be a cool opportunity. But I was like, no, Waylon, you're going to speak on my stage.
Oof.
And right then and there, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw an event. So 2.5 years ago, I threw the first world's largest real estate bus tour. And guess who showed up to speak on my stage?
Waylon.
Mr. Sean Waylon. And now all of a sudden I've realized when you build your own brand and you build your own community, like that bait on the fish, the real ones will come to you because of that consistency. And although the red suit's kind of gimmicky, because it is, but through consistency, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you were born, where you come from, if you're consistent and you just hustle, the real ones will respect you. And then once they have your respect and you learn to teach other people what you've done, it's game over. It's lights out. And that's the name of the game. Most people just don't understand how the game works.
That was nuts. Let me just, that deserved one. Seriously, right? Because I wrote that many notes while you were talking, like here and then half of that there. Like the first note I wrote was, my soul is not for sale. Our souls are not for sale. And I believe that that's where you and I have connected like brothers, where like we know who we are. Our identity is our principles. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're looking for identity, you don't have to look too far. It's the principles and how we live our lives and how we walk in integrity every day. Right?
Hunter, like here's the thing with you. I respect you. I mean, I met you at an event I think it was up at Keaton's where we started to date, right?
When they were throwing that
event with
Maverick Center, I don't remember what it was called, but it was a pretty big event. There was like 5,000 people or something.
Well, his was called the world's largest entrepreneur event. Yeah. Kind of funny how it was the world's largest after I threw the world's.
I like that.
I've got people in my area. They send their people to my events and they copy it to a T. Now, most people would be like, oh, they're copying. I'm like, good. They should be copying. They should build their own table.
That's right.
This is awesome. But everyone knows who the original is, right? Yeah. But that's where we kind of connected and met and built it. But I just remember you said something that impacted my life forever. And it was actually at the event last year. And I don't know how much that you know that this has meant to me. When I said, hey, you know about somebody by who their circles, who they hang out with. Mm-hmm. And you said, even better, you actually know a lot about somebody's character by who they avoid.
Oof. Hold on. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I've the past year with my circle, it's went from here to now. It's really, really, I won't go into rooms where people that have ripped other people off. I don't care about the opportunity. You can go there all you want. I ain't going to be associated with somebody because my integrity, my soul is not for sale.
That's right.
And that drives people up the wall when they think that they can convince me to do certain things. And I'm immovable because I ain't going to let my brother, my wife, and my kids down. I don't care if I could gain millions and millions of followers by doing something. I don't want to look back and look my kids in the eye and say, hey, go have integrity, but your dad didn't have integrity growing up. It just doesn't work that way.
Let me just comment on that, brothers, that I've seen, on social media and, the virtual world, right? I've seen people, the word I'm looking for, I would say, not violate their own integrity, right? But put their integrity on the line for the benefit or the intention of leveraging that other person's brand or leveraging the other person's hype at the moment. You know what I mean? And that's really disappointing and disheartening to see, because here's what they don't understand it's not even about what you're doing publicly to the real people that are watching, right? That's not even the worst part of it. The worst part of it for me is that you're walking against the purpose that God has for you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
You're going against the grain, dude. Right? You're doing it your way. You're doing because if I don't get next to this dude or this person, it might take a little longer. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've seen that happen so many times, and guess what? I then begin to avoid those people too.
Well, let me ask you this question. Would you rather have God on your side or 1,000 men on your side? I'm taking God every time.
All day.
All day.
All day.
And at the end of the day, it's God, but it's also yourself.
That's right.
Because I've been broke multiple times and I've had to reinvent the wheel multiple times because I've been able to work on myself. And once you figured that out, you're unstoppable. But I used to I'd share more stuff with people and this and that. And now I've toned that down significantly. I don't care if they have 7 million followers or they got 2 followers.
That's right.
If I believe in that person and we connect to that soul, I'll share their stuff.
That's
but
right.
you have to be careful about being in those rooms because now you're associated with somebody that's going against your moral compass.
That's right.
And that's what leads to unhappiness more than anything. When your gut, I'll just tell you right now, if your gut tells you to do something, 99% of the time, it's right. When you go against your gut, that's when you have the dilemma, the unhappiness, the depression. When you just go with what your heart and your gut tells you to do, even if you're wrong. I went with my gut. I got a lesson out of this. And a lot of people just don't understand how the game works.
That's right.
This life is just a journey, and looking back and looking your kids in the eyes saying, hey man, your dad has integrity, but except for that one time. Integrity is a full-time job. It's not a part-time job. You can't just be a man you can't be an honest man and then lie, even if it's this. And it's even, I tell my kids, like, hey, you steal that candy bar. Look, be careful of how people operate too. If they lie about the little things, if they're having major issues with their spouse and they're cheating on their spouse, they're going to cheat on you in business.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I'm not here to be, because people do make mistakes and they get better with it. But at the end of the day, work on yourself and attract people to you instead of chasing the circus. And that's what everyone's doing all with these 22-year-old life coaches right now.
Health attracts health. Sickness attracts sickness. And less is more. Less is more, right? So addition by subtraction. You can't add the right people, right? Or you can't bring the right people to your table if the wrong people are sitting down at the table. You know what I mean? Addition by subtraction. You know what I mean? You gotta get rid of those folks. You gotta get rid of those folks. You said a lot there in a short period of time, bro, because right now, brother, the level of deceit that we're experiencing in every aspect of life, right? Like from politics, right? Like, you see the both sides of how that's going right lately, where, especially with Doge and all the, the trillions of dollars or billions of dollars that they're finding, go left and right. So there's deceit happening there at that level, right? There's deceit happening in the physical world here every single day, right? And then there's a whole bunch of deceit happening in the social media world, which I call it the 3D world, the virtual world. Now there's a spiritual world, there's a physical world, and now, whether we want to accept this or not, there is a virtual world.
Yep.
There, right? That's what it is.
Well, and I always say too, like, it's not our job. Like, God has a plan. And, never interrupt somebody on their way to destruction. Your enemies that have, I've lost close to $1 million in the past couple of years with contractors ripping me off, investing in people that said that they're going to do certain things. And you can live in that victim mindset, or you can say, hey, that was a lesson. I didn't follow my rules. I didn't go with my gut. That's right. That's a stupid tax on me. Yep. But at the end of the day, God is a just God. And some of those deals, had I not lost that kind of money on those deals, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. because sometimes it takes getting punched in the mouth a few times to really, really learn how the game works. And those are the best things that have ever happened to me. You know, that's the problem that we all run into in life, is that we're just seeking the good stuff. But the best lessons that you've probably ever learned, in myself, is in darkness.
That's right.
Is being like trying to figure out who I am.
In pain.
In pain. You're, you know, profit from your pain.
I love that. Profit from your pain. I love that, brother. You know what I've been seeing you do a lot better in the last 12 months that I'm absolutely loving, right? Because I've done this now. I've done the same thing since 2019. You are beginning to protect your community more and more and more and more. You're no longer just handing them to the wolf. Your level of discernment has increased significantly over the past 12 months.
Well, just as I was taken for a ride from a few people, it hurts me more when I see that happen to somebody that I genuinely care for. Then when it's me, it's like, yeah, you idiot. Like, what were you thinking? But when it's somebody that's a single mom or somebody that's their last dollar, that's when it really, really hurts. And so, you know, at the end of the day, the market's going to do its thing. But at the end of the day, if I can actually get better at putting them in a right position, they ultimately have to make those decisions. So I'm not going to do, if somebody, you know, that's the free will and choice. Yeah. But I can also put them in a better position, and they got to execute off of it. But 100%, I've learned that from you too as well. Like you're just like, I take your advice and, hey, I'm not quite sure. And you'll say this, and I'm like, okay, I want to see how they are in a year or 2 years or 3 years before I go into business with them. Yeah. Because I want to see not when things are good, I want to see how they operate when things are bad. That's such a huge tell that a lot of people don't. When everything's good, it's easy to be friends with everyone. How are you on your worst moments? That's who I want to roll with. The guys that have actually gone through things, have overcome it with a victor mindset. That's my tribe. Those are my people.
I love that you're playing the slow game, bro. And a lot of people think, right, that there's shortcuts. You know what I mean? But what they don't know is that the slow game is the shortcut. You get what I'm saying? Yep. Right. With that being said, brother, where can people, listeners and viewers get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, the easiest is just at Red Suit Realtor on Instagram, at redsuitrealtor.com, at Red Suit Realtor on YouTube. Simple. Keep everything simple. Just look for the red suit. And this is a shade of red suit. So the next book, 50 Shades of Red. 50 Shades of Red. Wow. It's coming soon.
Let's go. Where are we at here? Thank you so much for joining us this week. Appreciate you sharing the show like you have been. It's been absolutely amazing. Continue to comment down below. We'd love to see it, and we'll catch you next week. Thank you.